Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, kindly consider liking, subscribing or following my channel. This is a very random video that I've been meaning to make for a long time since I started this channel, because I've realized that the kind of vlogs that I bring for you, the teaching vlogs, I only bring content to you that I'm interested in, such as I like cleaning and I like talking about my life as a lower primary teacher or an early childhood teacher. So I decided to, because I'm kind of an older student or an older teacher, because I went back to school at 35, and I know this is something that a lot of people have been asking me in works, and a lot of people have been wondering why I would start vlogging, because the people that know me on social media, they know me as an artist. So I decided, why not do for you a random video to explain to you why and how and when and what resources I used to go back to school at that particular age, and how I'm finding it 2 years into working as a lower primary school teacher and also an early childhood teacher. So if you have not yet subscribed to my channel, a brief introduction is that I just make cleaning videos. I like cleaning. I'm interested in resetting, cleaning, random vlogs about cleaning, and my teaching life my life as a teacher, daily vlogs. So if that is the kind of content you like to see and you are interested in, kindly consider liking, subscribing and sharing. Or I just hope to inspire you if you are someone who would like to start over in life in your mid 30s or early 30s, or anyone who was doing some other work or was in another form of career and wants to switch, or was in another profession and wants to, especially people who are interested in teaching, they'll find this content that it will be more tailored to them. So kindly stay with me. During the vlog, it is very random. I've realized if you just want to do this YouTube thing, you need to be yourself, and you need to say the truth always, and you also need just to talk to people as if you are facing them. So if you see me, I have written some notes here so that I cannot go off topic. So let us get into the vlog. Welcome back. So this is a vlog about me, how I decided to go back to school first at the age of 35. That was back in the year 2023. And also how I went about it. You know, anything you decide, you must have reached even maybe a bottom. What do they say? You must have hit rock bottom, or not even rock bottom. You have reached a point in your life, that you really need to start doing what you are meant to do in this world. You know, some jobs we do in this world, we do them because we have to, and some jobs we just fall into them. So these are the steps I want to follow to tell you how, when I decided to go back to school, how I went about it, who helped me, and what resources I used. So the first question I've written for myself, so that I can be able to make this vlog as informative as possible, and as, even though it is random, you might, if you are interested in going back to school for any profession, it is not a must it be teaching. If you are interested in going back to school, how you can go about it, or you can take a few steps from mine and see how it goes. Why I decided I decided to go back to school because the corona corona changed everybody's life. If it did not change yours, or it did not make you think twice about what you are doing in life, then I think you are in the correct place and you continue being there, alhamdulillah. But for some of us, we lost our jobs during that particular time in corona, 2020, 2021. So me personally, to just cut the long story short, I lost my job in 2019. I came, I did Huduma. You remember that Huduma number thing? We were the ones who were doing it, we thank God. We did census. And then when I finished, now Corona came in 2020. Kama bado tunajipanga panga, when we are still arranging ourselves, Corona came back in. And at that particular time, I was already over 30 years. So, Corona, we were like a bicycle. I did a lot of art. If I have the chance, I will insert to you, because my main background, where I'm from, what I've learned, what I've been doing professionally before Corona, and as a person, I was working in the sales industry, and before that I was a visual artist. So the sales industry took me in as a visual artist because of my power to be able to do something called illustration and model making. In fine art, when you do, I have a diploma in fine art personally. That is my background before I went back to school now for teaching. In art, when you do something, there's a unit we are taught, it is called illustration and model making. It is all about the packaging industry and how you can package, because even if you produce something, you really need, sorry about that. Okay, I was saying that when I decided to go back, I decided because of the COVID thing. COVID changed a lot of people's lives, even mine. So when I decided to go, and when I talked to one of my sisters, to be precise, she came in to sponsor me financially. So what I did is tried to look at the types of things that I'm interested in. Remember when I was telling you previously that I used to work in the sales industry? You may wonder how, but as an artist, there's a unit we are taught, it is called illustration and model making. So I was in charge of, in the supermarkets, I don't know when you go to the supermarkets if you are keen. There are some people we stand by the aisles. We are the ones who arrange the products on the shelf in a manner that you can be able to visually see them in an aesthetic manner so that you can make your choice. Okay, and another thing I used to do in the supermarket, but I was under a very broad term called merchandising. But another thing I used to do, you see the kind of displays when the supermarkets are having sales. You arrange the products in form of an animal, a bunny, a what, beautiful displays. That is what I used to do. So it does not mean that I never use my particular profession that I used to do before was never giving me now maybe work. It was giving me, but after Corona things changed. So I decided to go back to school to do something that will combine to my professional background, so that I may not lose my previous education. So what resources did I use? First of all, I called and I tried to walk in. You remember during Corona it was very hard. That was in 2022. After the elections, I decided to go around and ask how someone can get into teaching, and in what capacity if they want, and what schools offer. So I remember, because me, I like saying the truth, because of my grades in that particular point, my grades in KCSE, there are some teaching courses I could not take. So that is when I decided to take the Montessori course, because of my grades. Even though I did not perform badly in KCSE, but there are some subjects they wanted, and things have changed. Remember, I finished school back in 2006. So back then, if you wanted to do anything and you did not have the grade, especially sciences and mathematics, if you are from the past, you know. If you are not from Matiangi's lot, you know that we used to do bridging courses. But right now, they never used to offer that. So you could not upgrade your grade. So I decided to go into private school teaching, because now the government side ilikuwa inanipea stress. They wanted a lot of things, and with my age, and if you want to go back to school, remember, you don't need someone to frustrate you. You just need something straightforward. So I weighed kuna government and then kuna private. So I said, why don't you guys go into private international teaching, because you never know where you might end up in life. Yeah. So, and in Africa, it is more marketable. So when I decided to go into private teaching, I looked at the international curriculum and the Montessori curriculum. So another thing, when you are going back to school, you don't want to now to be frustrated. So I looked, the Montessori one, it is offering 1.5 years, and then you might get your certificate. The international one, even though it is competent and everything, it is asking a lot for, and again, for a lot of things. And then again, I did not do, me, I'm a KCSE, I'm a NEC person, even my diploma in fine art is NEC. So I said, let me go into something that I already understand. So first of all, I looked for a NEC, a NEC an education system with a NEC background. It turned out that Montessori is not offered under NEC but under private examination board. So when I went there, I started looking at schools now. Remember, I first decided on the resources that I'm going to use in terms of how I'm going to go about it. I physically walked into several schools, but now I decided to settle with Premise African Institute. It is located in Imaradaima, behind the Imaradaima Mall and opposite Luron campus. There's a cosmetic company owned by an Indian called Luron. It is exactly opposite that particular cosmetic company. So financially, I told you I was supported by one of my sisters. She took me back, and what I liked about Premise, it is very competitive in terms of their pricing. You know, another thing, when you're deciding to go back to school, even if someone decides to support you financially, there's still the aspect of the lunch, utakula nini lunch and everything, and then there's still the aspect of now the fare and the boarding facilities. So I decided to commute to and from our place in Athi River to Imaradaima. So in as much as nilikuwa supported in terms of going back to school financially, I still had to look as an adult and as someone who is going to school at the age of 35 and above. I still had to look for fare in terms of hustling and doing random things so that I can get there. And another thing, when you are getting into any back to school at a random age like 35 and above, 30 and above, 25 and above, yani in that school, you know you are older. One of the things you should consider is the fact that most institutions want you, especially most professions, want you to go there full time. So meaning, kama unataka kuhustle, you want to get your fare, you want to get lunch, or you want to get some facilities or materials that will be used in school, you need to be in class between 8 and 5. 8 and 4, 8 and 5. So it is full time. So you need to put that into consideration, especially courses like teaching and nursing, as in a distance. It is not like business or commerce or finance. But if you are into commerce or finance or other professions, you can you can take distance learning. But teaching, it is full time. So you need to plan yourself financially. Ukijua you will be in school for the whole day for 1.5 years, 2 years, depending on which institution and which package you choose. Now, how did I find it? First of all, it was a bit challenging because going back to class, because I finished the last college that I was in, I finished in 2010. So you can imagine, like 13 years later, I'm in class and I'm in class with the younger people. So I found it a bit challenging, but something that encouraged me. And I always say this is God. When I went to register, I was actually the third person to register. And then I was told, how old are you? I said 35. And then the lecturer is like, you know, there is someone who is 51 and she's going back to school. So I was like, oh, I'm not the oldest. There are people even, they are choosing to go back to school. Imagine, at 51 years, at 49 years. I think she was 49 at that time, or yeah, she was not yet 50. But imagine, she was one of the best students there in my time there, 1.5 years. Because what you do, you go for an industrial attachment for 6 months, and then you go for the coursework Montessori for 1 year. That is how our institution in Premise, they have planned themselves. So I was very much inspired by that lady that I used to go to school with. If she sees this video, I want to just congratulate her, because she's still, even where we are teaching right now, I used to teach with her the same school, and then I left and then I went to another school. She's still the best in terms. She used to finish her work, she used to plan herself. So another thing that you should note when going back to school for any particular course, for any particular reason, is that when you are older, you know what you want and you are much more serious than your younger counterparts. By then, class, me and I, we used to be very much into whatever is being told, because we know we don't have time, you know. But I liked the kind of people that I met there, the younger students, because they used to encourage us and they used to laugh at us sometimes, because us people, we used to be very studious. I'm very keen. If the lecturer does not show up, we go tunafuatilia and everything. That is one of the things you should know. When you are older, you know what you want. So that is how I found it socially. Emotionally, I was okay, because I'm the kind of person that, first of all, I like academics. So I did not find it challenging. Socially, I like people, and at most, Montessori and teaching as a profession is full of, most women like teaching, or most. So in our class, we only had one guy. So that is another thing that encouraged me. Even if you are a young man and you want to get into teaching, and you want to get particular, okay, there are mathematics teachers, science teachers who are S1, P1, but it is very hard to find a young man, Gen Z, wanting to be a nursery school teacher, an early childhood teacher. That one, it requires a call, because by the way, when you are a nursery school teacher, you need to have a heart, kwa sababu hook on the kind of things that go on there. The children are very messy, so if you don't like mess, how to survive? So that there is another guy who really encouraged me. If he'll watch this video, he's my fellow colleague and I've worked with him. He's very good. Meaning, even if you are a guy, it's not a must ukwe mama, ama ukwe msichana, ama ukwe mzee, ama ukwe. If you have your life, you are a late developer in life, or something happened in your life, you can consider seriously going back to school at any particular age, provided you have someone to support you financially. And if you want in particular to get back to school for teaching, know that it is full time. Ujipange barabara. Yani mwenzangu ujipange. Kwa sababu you should know that you will probably sit in class for the whole day. So kama ni mmoja wa watu you like hustling. Unajua kuna watu nimesoma nao ni mahasla mbaya sana. You like hustling, just know that itafika zama mahali utakuwa unaenda mahustling zako. So you plan yourself financially, fare nini, nyumba kama ni mahali pa kupanga, you plan yourself. So spiritually, I went with God, because God is the one who made me have the idea of going back to school. And it does not matter even if you have a family or not. If you sit with your family, if you have a husband, maybe you are married, you can tell him, because kuna kile kitu ambacho umejiwekea ndani ya life yako, unasema lazima nifanye kitu fulani at this particular age, but inakuja inapita. You maybe have children. I used to go to school with people with children, even though personally I don't have children, but I found it easier because I always put God first, and God is the one who made me add the idea. So me, I think in one or another, Corona affected me positively, because right now it is 2 years past that particular time. I've finished with the industrial attachment. I'm now working at my second school. So I would just like to encourage you at this particular point in this video. If you want to go back to school, first of all, put God first, and then decide on your why, how, and who will support you, and how you will support yourself, especially if you want to go back to school for teaching. Teaching is full time. You know kitu inatatizaga watu wengi, because they want now to hustle at the same time. Ndio ukiwa mtu mzima umezoea kujitafutia, kurudi tena kuanza kukaa kwa maisha ya kuomba ama kuanza kutafuta watu handouts inakuwa ngumu. But just consider that you are why, you are when, you are how, and then the resources I've told you, it is online. If you want to Montessori, you can come inbox to me. I can support you or advise you. Or if you want the serikali one, yani mambo ya serikali, teaching ya P1 nini, but teaching is the same. If you are a teacher, you will just teach, whether in what capacity, kwa sababu the coursework and the way we are taught, it is the same. That is why in full time. It is just that Montessori, since it is more international, and then they base, our curriculum is based mostly on the competency of the learner and how you interact. The learner interacts in the environment. Vile CBC imekuja. So at another point that I should not forget to tell you, at this particular point, it is very easy for you as a Montessori teacher to teach in a CBC school, because now they have borrowed very heavily from Montessori. So tuko kama kimoja. Tukiingia na darasa, we just do the same work. You cannot know a Montessori and his CBC. We are the same. Currently, I work as an assistant teacher in a school, very nice school CBC, and I still blend in. So you see, katika mawazo yako, if you cannot qualify for the government teaching P1 and everything, early childhood for government for 4 years for a degree course, you can start with Montessori and then you go adding your knowledge as you go. Just know that a teacher is a teacher. When you are in the class, it depends with how confident you are in terms of talking to the learners. Yeah, nobody will know that you are from this curriculum and you are from that curriculum. You will just teach feasibility. By the help of God, you will teach. So at this particular point, I want to end my video and say thank you very much for sticking. I would never wanted this vlog to be long, but anyway, thank you very much for listening to me. If you have any questions and if you want to ask me anything, you can come to me inbox, and or you can drop a comment to me or a like, and consider liking, subscribing and sharing this content if you are interested in the type of vlogs or content that I do. Thank you very much.